What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Beaky, and let's look at the Dark Souls board game. We're going to go over a quick little setup of, well, what's actually going on with this monstrosity of cards and stuff all over the place, and the little figurines chilling over here. Here's some of our characters. I'm going to be playing with 3 of my friends. Yesterday, we did our very first game of Dark Souls, the board game. It was 3 of us, and then right before we got to the boss fights, we summoned somebody else to help us out, so we had 4 people in the end, and we only got up to the mini boss, which was a Gorgal. Today, our mini boss is going to be the Titanite Demon. Here's his card right here, so you guys can take a look at that. This is something we're very new at. We have never done D&D or tabletop gaming before, so we don't understand everything 100%, but the rules so far, I understand the rules of this game, so we don't understand everything concept of D&D, making up your own rules, but for the rules of this game, I understand it, and I'm going to share what I know so far for the setup before we go in and actually play a match. So let's just go over a few different things, then we'll go from there. So first thing I'm actually just go over real quick, this is not like some pro level detailed guide, but I just want some of you guys to see what the game is about if you guys end up picking it up. So here we are, we're looking at a character card. So here's a character card for the warrior. First thing first, right over here, you're going to be able to see a luck coin. You can use the luck coin to re-roll a dice. You have a special ability, which is for this warrior. It's called a Berserker Charge. It says once per spark. During his activation, the warrior may move 1 node without spending stamina. The next range attack zero attack he makes costs 0 stamina and gains area effect. So I know what the little symbols mean like that. You have your weapon slots or sword and shield, dual hand weapons. You have your armor right here. Then you can upgrade those weapons, armor, and so on and so forth. You have your SS Flask for Dark Souls players. You guys should know what that is. You could get Ember here, and you got a backpack to hold up to 3 extra weapons and so on and so forth. You have your stats right here: strength, dexterity, intelligence, faith, and then you got these little stones to put into them, which I'll show you guys very soon. But if you guys want to see really quick right there, those what they look like. So those are stats right there starting off. You start off with the base. When you want to level up at the Firekeeper, yes, there is a Firekeeper in this game. It costs 2 souls to level up 1 to tier 1. So if you want to go 16 to 23, 2 souls, 9 to 16, 2 souls. But if you want to go tier 1 to tier 3, so if you want to go 23 to 32, it costs 4 souls. Then from 2 to 3, it costs 8 souls. So you guys can do the math right there. So 2, 4, that's 6 together, plus the 8. So there you go, guys. Obvious math. All right, guys, so let's go from there. That's 14 altogether to get to the last tier. And trust me, it's going to take a long time to get that amount of souls in the way this game is played, unless you play your own custom rules. Here's the back of the player board. So that's right there. For the SS Flask and all the stuff, the way that they're actually indicated is by tokens. So you got these little tokens. And like when you use your SS Flask, you basically flip it over, and that means it's used. Same thing with your luck coin, which I'll grab from the other board right here. You just take it, flip it over. It allows you to re-roll a die depending on the situation. Same thing with your skills, re-roll. You could spend 1 soul to reactivate your luck coin once you go back to the bonfire to the Firekeeper. Your SS Flask doesn't get reset unless you go reset the bonfire, which does cost you, because once you reset the bonfire a certain amount of time, games will be over the next time you die. And the way that works, let's actually talk about the bonfire board. So I'm gonna get up in a second so you guys can see all the rest of the board. So we're gonna be playing with 3 people. So because we're playing with 3 people, we're gonna have this thing right here. This is a bonfire sparks. So if I was playing with 1 person, we would have 5 sparks, which would make it mean 5 life. Every time you die, you reduce it by 1. When you start with 3 people, you get 3. When you start with 4 people, you start with 2, and so on. You know, so you start with 2, and once they, somebody dies, the whole entire party, like 1 person die, everybody dies. So you're basically, whoever dies is the host of the game. If you're thinking about Dark Souls, then you reduce this by 1, and the bonfire, you reset at the bonfire. All the enemies that you're going to be placing out at the board, once you find out what the enemies are going to go ahead and come back. Everything resets except for treasure chests, because just like in regular Dark Souls, once you open up a treasure chest, even if you go to a bonfire, it doesn't get reclosed and you get to reopen it again. So that's like the same rules as you play in Dark Souls, the video game itself. So that's been very faithful to the game. So let me switch this back to 3, and I do apologize for camera angle. I don't have a camera I could put above this table at this moment, but if this becomes something really cool, maybe I'll do that later on. In the background, you might hear a 3D printer. We've been 3D printing some stuff to help out organize our playthrough of this, like little card holders right here, testing out different, we're going to be printing out like models, full treasure chests, just little different things to enhance our gameplay. And I'll probably share some of that when my friend starts modeling his own cool stuff for this, or who knows, we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's actually talk about the beginning. So after you have gone ahead and picked your character, so here's my character right here, I am the assassin right over there. My friend is going to be playing as the Harold right there, and my other friend is going to be playing as the knight right here. Okay, so you're going to decide on who's going to be going first. Once you decide that, you're going to give them this token right here, the first activation token. At least that's exactly how we understand the rules. I'm sorry if this is the one thing that's a little confusing, but first person gets that, and they also get the aggro token. The aggro token is there's a situation that some enemies only attack the creature with the aggro token, or if they have an area effect, they'll go towards the person with the aggro token and attacking the area where that person is. So they get this, and they also get to remove 2 stamina if they are view stamina. So let's talk about the stamina system, because it's another little important thing that determines whether you live or die. So right here you'll see this little black side that goes to red. Red is health damage, black is stamina. So let's say you want to dodge an attack. So this little symbol right here means dodge. You grab, the enemy attacks you, you grab the dice compared to all the equipment that you have starting off. This is your starting equipment. You give everybody the starting equipment. The way you know this, the starting equipment is literally on the back of the card. It has a symbol of that character. So the Harold is using that kind of spear from a long distance spear, and that's his icon. So this character uses that spear. This is the equipment he starts off, and with this character he gets 1 dodge die. So if somebody's attacking him, he rolls a dodge die. He doesn't get it, so he's not able to dodge. But dodging, attempting to roll out of the way like Dark Souls, costs stamina. Whether you're successful or not, it costs stamina to try to attempt to roll. So there you go, it costs him 1 stamina to attempt to roll right there. Let's say somebody else keeps trying, another enemy comes and tries to attack him, costs him another stamina. But let's say another enemy, so there's 3 enemies on the board that are trying to attack him. I'm just putting them over here as an example. So he was able to no, he dodged the first of 2 attack. Then this big guy comes, and the big guy comes and attack. He tries to attempt to dodge, and he doesn't dodge it. He still takes the 1 stamina, but this guy does 5 damage. Now he gets 5 damage here. So he was able to dodge the first 2 attack, but the last one he was not able to dodge it. So he takes 5 full frontal attack. And I'll talk about more about attacking once you guys see me plays. So now, as you guys see, his bar is about to be full. If he uses another stamina to dodge later on, that's another one. Now he only has 1 left. Once these things connect, once all the slots are filled up, you are dead, and your whole entire party is dead. So your whole entire objective is to manage how much stamina you use and how much damage you use as well. So that's the whole entire idea there, guys. You do not want to get to the point where the red and black are touching, because that means you are dead. So certain things cost stamina. There's different skills that reduce like the cost of stamina. You can re-roll dice. So let's say in a situation my friend didn't get, he's about to try to dodge 1 more attack, right? Let's say he doesn't have this one, and he rolls and he doesn't get it. Let's just turn it over. He doesn't get it. He could use his luck coin to re-roll again. That's what that does. So that just allows them to re-roll again, and you can play the Firekeeper 1 soul to go ahead and reset that right there. So boom boom, there you go. So this is basically, that's the character board right there. Aggro token, voila. After that, let's go ahead and take a look at probably the most important part of the game, the actual keep, where the Firekeeper is. So here we have the Firekeeper, blacksmith, inventory, which was shared between everybody. Everybody puts their inventory their cards in there, their weapons and stuff what they'll buy from the blacksmith. So it costs us 1 soul to go ahead and buy equipment. So we buy equipment, we randomly shuffle this up, and we draw 1 card. So then we look at the equipment, and we're gonna look right here. This equipment requires, let's take a closer look. It requires 28 dexterity, which you could be noted by right over here. So 28 dexterity, 0 faith, 0 intelligence, 0 strength. So we look at everybody's character, and let me just grab the other one for the warrior, because we're not playing with a warrior right now. And as you guys will see right now, the warrior only has 9 dexterity. So for the warrior to use this, he would need to level up all the way up to tier 3 to use this. So it wouldn't be very viable for the warrior to use this. A character that already starts with a base high dexterity is the one you would want to give this to. So it's that kind of thing right there, guys. So same thing as Dark Souls, you only level up 1 point at a time, and it costs his soul to basically do everything. Different weapons, different equipment have different stats. And if you look at the equipment's cards, there's different information on it. Right down here, this little one right here, this indicates damage blocking. So you roll 1 black die. The black die is this one right here. So if an enemy attacks you, if you want to not dodge it, you can roll 1 black die and reduce the damage by a certain amount. So I'm gonna roll this die, and I'm gonna reduce whatever the enemy attacks me, how much damage they do. I can reduce it by 2 damage. So if the enemy attacks for 4, I reduce it down by 2, so I only take 2 damage. If the enemy does magic damage, just a symbol right next to it is magic, and the symbol right next to that is dodge. If you have no dodge symbol, that means that your character can't dodge. Like my friend who's gonna be playing over there with that, he's a knight. His knight equipment does not start off with any dodge ability, because the knight is a heavy character and it basically will be a fat roll, but he just really can't roll at all very well. So that's how that works. Once you have souls, and here's your souls for the game, you'll get them after you clear out encounters, which I will explain a little bit in one moment. But you'll see all this a little bit better once we start the match. And I'm gonna have to reshuffle this because we're about to play in a bit. But we're just 3D printing some stuff and waiting for some food. Okay, so once a board is all set up, which the easiest way to set up the board is you start off with your Firekeeper, your shrine, right? Then you pick 4 tiles. There are 6 tiles altogether with the base game. You pick 4 of them randomly, and then you put the other ones to the side, which we have over here. And there's 2 boss tiles. The boss and the mini boss tiles, you can put them onto the side until you get to the fog door, which anybody who's played Dark Souls before understands. The fog door, it means you're going into a boss encounter. And if you don't have a big table, you don't have to put that all out. We have enough room on this table to put it out, but we're not going to do it because, well, we don't want to be too chaotic for this video. So anyways, so you pick the 4 tiles, you put them out any way you want. Each tile has different layouts. So every time you play the game, because you shuffle up and pick random tiles, it makes the experience different every single time. It's never going to be the same exact, well, I can't say that. You would have to play a lot of games for it to be the exact same tiles and the exact same sides, because there's 2 sides in each. So there's a lot of different ways it could play out, and there's a lot of different encounter cards. So let's talk about these cards right here. They have souls on the back, and if you play Dark Souls, you probably could guess what they're about. These are encounter cards. These are 1, so it's weak, 2, very hard, and there's another one that has 3, that's the hardest difficulty encounters. So if we're going to be entering this area, the first thing we do, we pick whoever's going to be going first, which is my friend's character who's going to be playing the Harrow. The Harrow has the spear. He goes to the door right here. From what we understand, like I said, this is the activation. This is the one thing just a bit confused on, and I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but it still works the same way. He gets to go in first. We flip the card over. Once the card's over, it tells us what type of creatures are going to be going in this area. So right now we need 2 hollowed soldiers, so we're going to go ahead and grab some hollow soldiers. I already know what the hollow soldiers look like because I have them lined up here. So these are hollow soldiers, and we put them on the symbol, the sword symbol. So 1, 2 hollow soldiers, and then we got 1 bow knight right over here. 1 bow knight. So we take the bow knight, which is this dude right here, obviously the big old bow knight, and we put him on the X symbol right here, right? Then we go ahead and do everything else it says. So it goes ahead and shows us a barrel. So there needs to be a barrel on this little terrain feature. So terrain is basically in Dark Souls. If you ever played Dark Souls, there are barrels. You roll into barrels. You smash them. Sometimes there's stuff behind them. That's bad for you. And when you flip the barrel over after you smash it. So we're going to put that in the terrain feature right over here. And if you want to move into a space with a barrel, it costs 1 stamina, which I'm going to explain the movement in a moment. Alright, next up we have the other symbol. There's nothing there, so we don't have to put nothing on this other symbol. But then it gets really bad because now we have these yellow symbols at the bottom. These are trap symbols. So that's when you go ahead and get these symbols, these tokens right here. And on the back of them, they are traps. So some of them are going to be blank, and then some of them are going to have different effects. Let me try to find one with an effect. Oh, I've been very lucky so far. Okay, here we go. So this one is a trap, and this trap says it deals 1 damage, or you have to try to dodge that 1 damage by rolling 2 dice. Your equipment has to allow you to roll 2 dice to try to dodge. You can't try to block the damage from the trap. You either have to dodge out of the way, or you basically sit there and take it. So yeah. So with that, you got to put out the traps. I'm not going to put the ones you see. Actually, I'll use the ones you see. So you can put the traps out in a very specific order. They cannot be on the way of an entrance door. So you see the entrance door right here. It cannot be on the wall with the entrance door. So if there's an entrance or exit door, you can't put it there from my understanding. So that means that you can put a trap here, trap here, trap, here, trap here. And that's it. We only can put out 4 traps because this is an entrance. So it would be unfair for the player to move right into the room for the very first move, and there's just a trap right there. Like, I know Dark Souls kind of has stuff like that, but it's like, you know, like for the don't put it right where you walk in because the game just started. It'd be messed up to go in and just kind of get hurt and kill you that way. So the traps are out right now. Because there are doorways right here, we can't put any over there. Because there's a barrel right here, we can't put one right here. But we would if otherwise, all right? So with that happening there, everybody comes in and decides, the first guy who's going first, decide on where they want to start. You can start on any of the 3 nodes that align along the entrance door. So this is the entrance door. You could choose here, here, or here. Yes, you can start with the creatures if you want. So let's say if my character, which is the assassin, is really ballsy, he's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna start off with the 3 characters. I'm gonna try to kill them right when it's my turn. All right. The Herald attacks long distance, so he's gonna go right here in the middle. The other guy goes over here. So that basically means that we are all separated, or we all could be together if we wanted to. 3 characters or 3 models could be on 1 tile. If this model moves into this, 1 person has to be pushed away. There's always could only be 3 on a tile. This is very important when you guys see us play the game, because we get to choose. The player gets to choose on which model gets pushed out. And by pushed out, they could push to an adjacent tile. So I could get pushed into the trap, and if I get pushed into the trap activates because I go to that tile, and because there's no damage on this trap, I get to just stand right there like that. Now, how do we know how does the enemy attack and all that? Well, you got to pick their cards. So here, let's look at the cards they have. This is a hollow soldier right here. So if you guys don't mind, just give me a moment to actually try to explain what this card is all about. Okay, you read the cards left to right. Let's start up here. This is the threat level. So the threat level is important because that decides on which creature attacks first. And let's go ahead and get the silver knight, the bow knight, so you can see the difference. Okay. All right, there we go. So here we are with the silver knight. Great Knight, he's only a threat level of 3, so the hollow soldier gets to go ahead and attack first. So right here, his attack range, this is right here, 0, means that he has to be on the same node as his enemy he's attacking. So if he's attacking, let's put this guy right. If he's attacking this dude right here, he has to move over here and actually attack him. His movement, every single one of his turns, is 1 space, and this little circle indicates that he always goes towards the nearest opponent. Some people always attack the person with the aggro token, which is this symbol right here. And remember, the aggro token is this one over here. And right now, my friend, the Herald, has the aggro token. So that means that the Great Knight is always going to be attacking him, not these two over here. But we'll go into, I'm gonna do a better video about this later on. Just this is a very quick until my friends are ready, and I have the time. I might as well just go into it. This is gonna be just a little intro. Actually, I'll just make this its own separate videos because this is kind of, yo, John, right? This is kind of a long video already. Just talking about it. I didn't even expect to be talking about this that long, but that's kind of, and I'm rushing it too. Let's go ahead into the rest of the card. The shield right here denotes his block. For physical, magic, health is up here. The creature icon, his chances of being dodged. So you have to roll 1 die to dodge his attack. His attack is right here, 4 damage. Who does he attack? He tries to attack the nearest creature, nearest enemy. So it's like that. So once this creature gets near to you, let's just move people around real quick. You right here. He moves over. right? He walks over his... Okay, actually, let me just explain the flow of how this starts. Enemies always attack first. Always. All the enemies attack. So this enemy attacks, this enemy attacks, that enemy attacks, depend on their threat level, right? So these two guys are going to attack, then he's going to attack because of the number right here. After that, then one character gets to go. As the Harrow is a person with the threat level right now, let's say we're doing a first match, the Harrow gets to go next. So the Harrow is going to do whatever the Harrow does, and then all enemies attack again. So it's not like all enemies attack, then all characters attack. No, no, no. The enemies have a big advantage on every single one of them can attack together, and then all of us have to wait till our turn to respond to that. Which, once again, once we're playing, that's going to make a lot more sense. But that's kind of what makes it difficult and really interesting too. But as you guys see, with enemies starting off with like 1 health in some of their beginning encounter, that makes it's not too difficult to kill a creature with 1 health, as long as you could get through their armor and get lucky when you're rolling the dice, the black, blue, or so on and so on dice. Every dice has their own levels as well. You can consider black level 1, it only goes up to 2 damage. Blue goes up to 3 damage, and here we go with the big boy. As you can see, it goes really high. So that's how the dice evolution works. Certain equipment uses different type of die, as you will see from this sword that the Harrow is rocking right here. His equipment only uses 1 black die, and then he gets a boost of +1 damage, but he has to hit from, he hits at range. He attacks from range. He cannot attack somebody close next to him. He could do a +1, he could get the +1 by spending 3 stamina. The little thing right here, which says 0, this costs 0 to roll a dice. If he wants to roll a dice +1 damage, he's going to cost him 3 stamina. So that's how it goes right there. And I'm not going to go over everything in this video, definitely not. I'm going to make mistakes too, but I gotta understand the general concept, and once I'm playing, it'll be a little bit more easy to go more in detail. Okay, so we got our cards for the creatures, and I eventually want to do a solo game video to show you guys that. And now the enemies are going to go ahead and make their moves. So Hollow Soldier is going to go towards the nearest creature, because once again, movement is towards the nearest, right there. So he moves in here, and then he's going to go ahead and attack for 4 at my friend right here. My friend is going to decide on what he's going to do. His board is over there. His equipment, which I know you guys can't see because it's over there right now, allows him to attempt to roll with 2 roll dice. So it's going to cost him 1 stamina. Remember, cost him 1 stamina thing, the black thing, to go ahead and try. So he's gonna roll. Basically, he got 1, so that allows him to roll out of the way. So when you roll, you get to choose whether you want to move to a node. So he's gonna roll and move himself backwards right over here. And what does that do? That makes him so that this guy, who once again it's his turn, he gets to move once. He gets to move. Now he's out of the way because he was successful on his roll. So that's the great thing about rolling and basically dodging out of the way. You rolled to another node, making it so that the second guy can't reach you. And that's what's so important. Even though everything is so close together, because you can roll into another node, now you only have to avoid 1 attack from the Hollow Soldier instead of 2. Now the Hollow Soldier's phase are done. And next up, you're going to have to go ahead and deal with the Silver Great Bowman. So this guy does physical damage, and the attack range is infinite. So his attack range is crazy strong. And here's where things are going to get interesting, and you guys are going to really like seeing this when we play together. His card shows something very important. This little circle indicates that he does an area effect attack. And look right here, all of our a whole party is in one area together. So once he attacks, everybody's gonna have to respond to his attack. He attacks the person who's aggro, and the person who's aggro is the Harrow, who's over there with the aggro token, who came first, and he rolled into me. So because the Harrow before rolled out of the attack for the potential 4 attack from the Hollow Soldier, he put his whole party at risk because the next enemy attacks everybody in the area of effect. And that's the little complex stuff that could possibly happen where you make a move like, oh yes, I got the roll, but you gotta think about it. Well, does the next enemy do area effect? If I'm with my teammates, could that be a disadvantage? So his better move would have been to roll to another area like over here where his teammates weren't at. But because he rolled over here, he put in his whole teammate at risk, and everybody's now gonna have to respond. So first, the knight goes ahead and attacks, you know, attacks right there. He has infinite reach, so it doesn't matter how far he is away. His attack is 4. So how do we, I'm sorry. First thing he does is move. Sorry, movement is always first. Like I said, I'm gonna, just little tiny mistakes. Movement's first. His movement is always 1 away. Down means away from the person who's tagged. So he's trying to run away from the person he's trying to shoot. So he runs away 1, and then he attacks. You have to move, then attack. You can't attack and then move like that in most, well, unless you're a boss and you have a card that does stuff like that. He goes ahead and sends his attack here. The Herald has to respond. The Herald is like, fuck it, I get 2 dice. I'm gonna try to roll again. So he goes ahead and spends another black stamina. Let's pretend this is the Herald's card. We'll just use it as a placement right now. He spends a black stamina there. And let me get some more. Yeah, and he spends the black stamina. Spend the black stamina there, just 1. And he tries to roll. Oh, he does not get any at all. He gets no roll tokens. So because of that, he has to take all the full brunt of the 4 damage, right? So we go ahead and get 4 reds. And he takes 4 damage right there. And because I used 1 stamina, and he used another stamina before when we rolled away. Now he only has 4 stamina and health combined. So if he takes 4 more stamina damage or health damage, he's dead and everybody loses, and we have to reset back at the bonfire and put the dial back down at oh poor 2. So yeah, that would really suck. This really suck. All right, let's move on from there. So he takes his damage. What about everybody else? So next up, we decide who goes next. It's clockwise. So the Herald went. Clockwise would be the Knight. The Knight is the guy right over here with the big shield on his back. So he goes. So the Knight, I already know my friend's card. He does not have the ability to roll. So he has to go ahead and try to tank the damage. The way that's going to work, let me go ahead and try to grab his equipment so we can take a look at that. As he has no roll on his shield or on his other equipment, what he has to do here, he gets 1 blue die and 1 black die for physical damage. Remember, physical, magic. So he gets a blue and a black. This is his only damage, and he has to hope that he rolls a 4 to block the 4 or higher to block the 4 damage from the great bow. And he gets exactly 4, meaning that he does not take any damage at all. So that works out great for the Knight. And normally I'm not going to be canceling all the equipment myself. Alright, so now it's my character's turn, which is my character is right over here. Whatever, it's over there. Yeah, so my character has equipment that does allow me to roll. I'm going to show you by just picking it up and making it easy. I have 2 equipment that allows me to roll 2 green dice, and I don't have a lot of ability to block damage. Because I don't have a lot of ability to block damage and I'm an assassin, I'm nimble, I'm going to take the risk on trying to roll the 2 dice. Boom, I got 2 of them. Even if I would have just got 1, it would have been fine. And that allows me to roll out of the way. But remember, because I rolled, I take 1 stamina damage right there, 1 stamina right there, and now I go ahead and roll out of the way. Now I can stay with my teammates when I roll, but I think it's safe to be separated from them because of the situation that is that when we are together we're more vulnerable from this guy. So I'm gonna roll myself over here and I'm gonna go ahead and show you what that means. All right, guys. All right, next up, now that it's a Herald, thank you, bro just got me some food. Now that the Herald enemies all went, now it's actually finally the Herald's turn. It's finally, after all that just happened, this was all the enemy, everything just happened.
For starting that shit.
I'm not started.
Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit. I'm not started. Disrespectful for starting that shit
I'm just explaining how the game plays. I was waiting for your ass.
Don't disrespect me in front of the camera.
They can't even see you yet. They see your freaking legs, you idiot. Get off the phone. Nah.
Alright, hold on. I'm gonna put the phone first. I didn't get nothing for Wendy.
Yo, look, give me a drink. Where's Story going to?
Tabletop.
Alright, here. Cool. Alright.
Change.
Huh?
I got change. Forget it.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Yeah, so he finally gets to decide on what he wants to do. So now he has a choice. He needs to move to, he can move to the enemies, try to kill the Hollow Knight, or he could try to kill the Great Bowman. I'm gonna say right now, let me give you an example of what could happen if he wanted to kill the Great Silver Knight Bowman, alright? He's right here. The Bowman's all over there. You get one free movement. Right there. So he moves one for free. If he wants to move another spot, it costs 1 stamina. So it costs 1 stamina to run. It's basically you run into the other spot. So now that he's started running, that's 1 stamina. If he wants to run to another spot, that's 2 stamina. If he wants to run another spot, that will be 3. But remember, his attack with his equipment allows him to attack from a far distance because he's using a spear. So that's what's happening there. But remember, he actually stepped on a trap. So now we have to actually, before we get to the next spot, he spends the 1 stamina, flips the trap. It's blank, so he's safe. There's no damage there. And he pays another stamina. So far it's cost him 2 stamina to run all the way over here. And now he attempts to attack. So let me go ahead and bring up his weapon. And now we can look at his weapon card. So the Bow Knight, remember, has a defense of 2 and 1 health. So he needs to do he needs to do 3 physical damage to kill the Bowman, or just 1 magic damage to kill him. He doesn't have any magic because he's using a physical weapon. He needs to either, so he could choose to roll 1 right here, 1 die that costs him nothing, or spend 3 stamina to go ahead and try to do 1 extra damage. As he wants to kill this great die, he's going to spend 3 stamina. So let's just use this as the analog right over here. So he's going to spend 3. He's going to go ahead and get 1 die, and he's going to get, he knows he's going to get extra damage right away, and he's going to hope he's going to hope for his life that he gets a 2, because if he doesn't get a 2, this is not going to work. Oh, he gets a 2. So with that, he gets a 2. That means that he does 2 damage that hits the shield, and then that 1 extra damage, because he paid the 3 stamina to do this attack, gets pushed through, and it's enough to kill the big knight with the sword. So that's what happens right there. He ends his turn, and he takes no extra damage right there. And now it's going to be the next player's turn, which is going to be the knight, this character right here. So here's where we have a little interesting situation, right? The hollow soldiers go towards the closest character, right? That's how they movement. They just move towards the closest character. They don't care who's closest until you look at, well, this very important thing on each card, which is called your threat level. Right next to your name, you have a 9 here. The Harrow, if you guys can see it here, I'm sorry if you can't, it's a 4. My character's threat level is 8, and the War Knight over there is a 10. And because he has a 10, while my character has a 9, right? I mean, sorry, my character has an 8. They always go after the person with the biggest threat. So instead of them both going after me, they're going to go after him because he's the bigger threat. So 1 goes first, so they're even, so you just pick whichever one you want to go. This is a situation where you just pick, it's the enemy's turn, but he goes in for the attack first. So right now the knight is going to be able to take, it's going to try to get hit for 4 damage. Remember, the knight cannot roll, so he has to go ahead and try to block. And this is where the game gets a little faster. You just roll the dice. He gets 3. That means he blocks 3 damage, and the knight takes 1 red. So the knight, he would go ahead and put 1 red on his board, and he takes 1 damage. The next guy moves in. Boom. Right? Same thing happens. The knight can't roll. He rolls 2 dice once again. He blocks 3. So he gets another red. We'll just take 1 red from over here as an example. And he just puts it in the spot. And now he took 2 damage. Alright, so finally, it's his turn. Because the enemies always move before the characters in this situation. He gets to decide on what he wants to do. Does he want to take 1 free movement onto a trap? Does he want to move over here? Does he want to move with me? No, he's going to say, you know what? These knights don't have that much defense. I'm going to go ahead for attack. So he's going to go ahead and, you look at his sword card. And every equipment has different requirements, and he's going to decide on how he's going to attack. As he's already taken 2 damage, he's not going to risk using 4 stamina, which is what it says right here, to use black and blue die. He's only going to run 1 blue die because he knows that all he has to do is get 2. And then the blue die has 2 on multiple sides, so he has a high chance of getting the 2. So he's going to take the risk, roll, gets 2, and he gets to choose which one he's going to attack. He attacks 1. Kills them. Boom, dead. That's it. Now, once again, it's the next character's turn. As we've been changing turns as well, each player gets the aggro token. So it went to him, and it went to him, then it's to me. So my character is the last guy to go in this situation. So the enemies move first, but even once it's the enemies, you just change the aggro token to me because it's going to be my turn next. Okay, so he's going to attack the nearest person, so he attacks Jonas again. Jonas can't do anything as a knight, so he rolls the black and the blue. And he blocks all 4 damage. Now, because the enemy had his turn, it's my turn. So I am the assassin. And I have a really bad yet good weapon. So bad because it minuses 1 damage from whatever I roll. But if I spend 3 stamina, which is not that much considering I get to roll 3 black dice, which potentially could put out all the way up to 6 damage minus the 1, which will equal out to 5. Alright? So I'm going to move once, which is a free move. Your first move is free. Roll all 3 dice. I get... I only get 2. Which cost me, remember, I just used 3 stamina, and I only got 2 damage. Oh, it's fine, it's fine. 2 is fine. No, yeah, I got 2, but I minus 1, so that means I only did 1 damage, and the Hollow Soldier blocks the one with his shield, with his resistance, physical resistance, and I don't kill him, so he gets to survive. And because it survived, the aggro token goes back to the Harrow. Now that the aggro token is back to the Harrow, which we will show right here, this is another thing you guys gotta know. As everybody keeps going clockwise, once it's your turn, and you have what's it called again? You have stamina. You remove 2 stamina. Every single time it's your turn, you remove aggro token on your turn. You remove 2 stamina before you do anything. Is you don't do all your attacks then remove 2. You remove 2 immediately if you have 2. If you don't have 2, then you don't do nothing. As when the turn starts, when you first go in, nobody had 2 right away, so you didn't have to remove. But this will be clearer once you guys see us play. I'm sorry, as I know it's gonna be a little bit confusing to follow, but I didn't expect to make the video this long, and I'm just kind of having fun with it until everybody comes back from the store. So, and we're 3D printing some stuff over there for this, and we're kind of waiting for that too. Let's see. So it's his turn. He's all the way over here, right? And the enemy's here, so the enemy attacks the closest guy. Remember, 3 of us are here, so the enemy goes first. Who does he attack? We're both the closest. Remember the threat level, so we look at the threat level. So my threat level is 8. The Harrow's threat level is 4, so it means that he attacks my character. Shit. So we're gonna go ahead and roll, because my character, if you guys remember, has the ability to roll because of his equipment. His equipment has roll here, roll here. I wonder if you guys can hear the Dark Souls music in the background. And I get 1 roll, which is all I need to do. 1 roll right there, and I get to roll out of the way, or do I want to stay here? I'm gonna roll out of the way and go right here, and that costs me 1 stamina. And I would put that there in my thing. And obviously I wouldn't be playing 4 different people by myself. You just wouldn't. When you're playing by yourself in a solo game, you can there's a few different ways to play the game: regular and campaign. There's a whole campaign where expansions and a bunch of other stuff. They even get mimics, other classes, and so on and so forth. But this is just a regular way to play, to get to the mini boss and then get to the main boss. And remember, this is just the first section. We haven't even gotten to a boss, and it's not going to take this long to get through the first little areas. Just I'm trying to explain it as we go. Okay, so I rolled out of the way. I avoid the damage completely. Now it's time for the Harrow to go. This was... Sorry, some of these got moved around while we were playing. Let me just try to put them back somewhere. Doesn't really matter right now because I'm just showing you. So if he wants to attempt to kill this dude, he needs to 1 free move. Then he needs to pay 1 stamina. Remember, 1 stamina to run. to get over here. And then he could go ahead and try to attack with his weapon. His weapon card was this one right here. Remember, the spare. And once again, if he has enough stamina available, because remember, he took 2 away when it was his turn and got the aggro token. He took 2 away, so he has 2 less. He's gonna go ahead and pay the 3 stamina to roll 1 dice. He pays 1 dice plus 1 damage. He gets 2 plus 1 makes 3. The Hollow Soldier only has 1 physical resistance shield. He attacks. Bam. He's dead. And we win the encounter. So what does that mean? We just won. We killed all the enemies in this little area. Well, you get 2 souls for every single player. So if we're playing with 1 person, you only get 2. If you're playing with 2 people, you get 4. If playing with 3, you get 6. So we get 6 souls. We can put it in our soul cache right over here. Also, a pro tip, guys, there's a bunch of apps that you can use to just count your souls. There's a lot of things that's in this game that you really don't need to have the tokens out with traps. There's lots of ways you use your cell phone to just set it up. But like I'm just showing you guys right now, and we're just getting into it. We're just having a little fun by having all this out. Like a lot of stuff, like even the damage from like the damage counters, the counters here, you could use your cell phone and just write it in. Like you could write it in, or there's apps like Counter that I like to use for stuff like where I just need to count stuff real quickly and remember it over a long period of time, like this, like a few hours, and that keep track of it without having these pieces out. So if you want to keep those pieces in the box, you could do that. So remember, you don't need because if you look over there, there's a bunch of pieces over there for the bosses. There are more pieces in there. There's a lot of stuff that comes with this, but you don't use everything right away. So my biggest suggestion is to, when you buy this game, do not take everything out of the box immediately. Read through the manual real quickly. It's tempting because you want to look at all the cool little figurine, but I could guarantee you're not going to probably use the poison, bleed, and all those effects on your first game. You should only take them out once you need it. You don't need to take out four treasure chests, because in this scenario, we didn't even get a treasure chest, which I'm going to explain what happens if you do. But anyways, so there we go. We get 6 souls. And now we can decide on what we want to do with those souls. So with those souls, we could decide to buy equipment. So let's say if we wanted to buy 1 equipment. We went ahead and bought that shield. That costs us 28 dexterity. And let's say we wanted to give that shield to, I'll just use my character as an example. My guy starts off with 14 dexterity. So he would need to get the 3rd tier 2 to use that. So he would need to level up twice. So we give 2 to the Firekeeper, or just count it on your phone. So that's 2 right there to the Firekeeper. 1 to the blacksmith for the equipment that we bought. And I leveled up twice, so that means my dexterity will go from 14 to 22. You basically just use one of the white little dots to indicate that right there. If I wanted to level up to the ability to use it, I can't, because it needs 4 to level up to tier 2. So that means that if I want to get this, we need to go through another dungeon, kill all the enemies, another room, and then get more souls, and I can level up again. So what do you do with the rest of your souls? Well, your choice is, you could level up another skill, or you could buy another equipment, and maybe you'll get something somebody else can use. So we bought another equipment. This time we got ourselves our worker armor, which requires 12, 12, 12 in faith, intelligence, dexterity, and strength. My character definitely can't do that. None of our characters have 12 in everything, but we could see what could possibly, who's going to be closest to get that, and decide on if we want to level somebody else up, and then we level up anybody who might want to do that. Nobody can really use this right away, so we're going to be like, nah, we're not going to go ahead and level up. We're gonna YOLO it and buy more equipment from the blacksmith. Now, this is where it's interesting. If you want to keep the souls to level me up next turn, we go out there and fight another encounter, and we try to freaking, you know, survive. But if we die, then we take the souls wherever we die, whichever node. So let's say I did die in this encounter. I died right here. We put the souls here for some reason, and we would have to come back into this place and fight and go to that node to collect their souls. So just like Dark Souls, if you die with souls, you gotta go back and collect them. So it's very to your advantage to try to spend them early game, from what I've seen. And if you die, remember, you lose a spark. That's your lives. So we're gonna say, nah, we're gonna spend all of our souls on equipment. So then we got ourselves more armor, 18 intelligence, 22 faith. Nobody right now could use that. We're gonna spend our last soul. Oh no, nah. And we get this, a blood gem. All right. This is an upgrade. This weapon attacks, gains bleed. So this needs somebody who has 15 strength. So none of the starting characters that I'm looking at right now. Oh wait, yep, the warrior. So let's say if we were playing with the warrior. Remember, like I said, I'm just showing you guys this. Nobody was picking the warrior when me and my friends were playing. I'm gonna have to reset this up. But the warrior could use the blood gem. But the warrior can't use the blood gem unless he has equipment that allows him to upgrade. So how do you know if equipment could upgrade? This little symbol all the way to the right here. That's the upgrade symbol. If you have one, that means you can upgrade it once, but it has to be for a weapon. So you would need to get a weapon that allows upgrade. So right here we got a skirmisher, so that allows you to equip bleed damage to this weapon. And now whenever you attack an enemy, they get a bleed token. Once you attack an enemy with a bleed token, so we attack this guy. Let's say this we'll attack this guy. This guy actually has a high amount of health. You attack this guy, you only do 2 damage, but he gets the bleed token, and what that means is the next time somebody else comes and attack him, he takes 1 damage of bleed, because that's how bleed works. You can look in the manual, which I have around here somewhere. It's a thick and big manual, but it does explain everything quite well. It says bleed. It takes 2 extra. Bleed right here. When a model that has a bleed token suffers damage, it suffers 2 additional damage. Then remove the bleed token. So it suffers 2 additional damage once somebody else attacks him. But it has to be somebody else attacks him, not immediate for bleed. All right. So that's how that works right there. One with upgrade, and how upgrades would actually work on the board itself. Let me just show you guys that. Okay. You put the equipment right here, and then these little slots underneath it are the upgrade. So it will be like, you put this down, you have this hanging out, then you put this underneath it, and it will look something like that. Except for like I am an idiot and can't keep still. Like that. And if you had 2 upgrades, you put another upgrade underneath that, and that's basically that. Alright. Okay. So, if there was a treasure chest in this encounter, remember, we didn't get a treasure chest on the card, but let's say this did have a treasure chest. After you beat the encounter, you would flip the treasure chest open, and it would allow you to draw 2 items for free. And put it into your inventory, and if anybody can use it, they can use it. You can, even if everybody dies and you go to the bonfire, or you choose to reset after an encounter, because you can't reset at the bonfire until after you're done with an encounter, or if you die you reset automatically. Everything gets flipped back over except for the chests. You cannot open chests twice, just like in the regular Dark Souls game. If you did use your luck coin right here, you can play the Firekeeper 1 to reactivate that. If you use your special ability, which you can read it once you play in the game and see what it does, it doesn't get reset once you beat the encounter. You would have to reset at the bonfire to do that, which reduces your life. Your Estus Flask only gets reset once you use your the bonfire. Once again, you can't pay to reset that. Embers, how embers work, once you get an ember cards, embers are going to be in your your pile to draw from. You draw it, and it reduces damage from 1 when you take over 3 damage, so you put that there. Only characters can only have 1 ember at a time, so like everybody can have 1. So if you get a 5th one, somehow if you're playing with 2 people and you end up with 2 more, you just basically you discard it, and then you just draw extra equipment right there. So that's kind of important too. How do you use your Estus Flask? So let's say it's your turn. After the enemy has gone, it's your move right now. You could choose drawing your activation. Your activation basically means while you could move, blah blah blah, attack before you choose to use your Estus Flask if you want to remove all your damage and all your stamina. So Estus Flask does the same thing as Dark Souls. It basically heals you. Observe, this Estus Flask is really upgraded because it heals you 100%. Compared to when you play the Souls games, you have to upgrade it yourself over time. And then it goes into the boss encounter, which is its whole entire different scenario. I'm just going to go over this quickly. I'm not going to go into depth into it. But bosses have their own cards. And the bosses is what actually determines which encounters you face. So actually something I should have said earlier, but like I said, I'm a noob at this and I'll make a better video at some time and you guys will see me play. When you go ahead and get the boss card, it determines which one of the encounter cards you pick. So you need 1 level 1 encounter and 3 level 3 encounter, and you always put the most difficult encounter nearest to the boss door. So the easiest one was the one we just did. So this was the easiest thing we did. This is easy. This is level 2. See, level 2 has a bunch of silver knights. That's gonna be pretty damn hard, and barrels, but there's no traps and there's no chests. So at least there's no traps there. So that's how we decided what goes where. Like here's another one right here. Right there, this one has traps, different scenario, and different scenario. This one hollow soldiers, and that's how you use the different figurines and different. This is what makes a game varied every time you play it, because these cards are going to be different, and the boss is going to decide on what cards go out. But you never know what the board layout is, and that's what I kind of like about it so far. Each boss has their own little special thing. It says if the Titanite demon suffers 3 or more damage from one attack, from one attack roll, reduce the damage by 1. So oh my god, he's just tanking our damage. God damn. All right, he has 4 behavior cards. So the behavior cards are these cards right here. This determines how he attacks. Just like regular attack enemies, he has to attack, but the boss has a bunch of different attacks: tail whip, lightning bolt, grab smash, so on and so forth. So we randomly pick 4 of these. So you shuffle them up, turn them upside down, and pick 4, and those are going to be 4, and you put the one that you didn't pick to the side. Okay, as you keep attacking and fighting the boss, eventually he'll get to a point where the fight changes. If you played Dark Souls before, sometimes, you know, the bosses get harder and harder as their health goes down. That's called their heat level. Once it gets down to their heat level, where there's little heat symbols on the health, if you guys can see that clearly, then you go to their heat cards. And his heat is 10, and you go ahead and you see the little cards right here with heat on them, and you shuffle 2 of these heat cards. So there's 3, shuffle them up, take them, and you shuffle them into this. Why shuffling them into this is important as well. The boss, the way you're supposed to fight the boss is that you're trying to remember which type of attacks it does. So once the heat activates, you have to shuffle everything so you won't understand exactly what the next attack. Because remember, he only starts off with 4, right? So let's say the first 4 happens. Bam, bam, bam. It stays in the same order, right? I'm just flipping them upside down. You're supposed to remember, they're supposed to be face down, but it happens in the same order. He doesn't get down to his heat level. He's at 12 health. Then it basically just, you know, it just goes, everything just flips over, and you just go again, right? Now that you know that the next one is going to be double swipe, if you know the next one is going to be, let's say, tail whip, I'm going to see if I'm right, but if you knew the next one is going to be very swing, you could remember that and try to predict what the boss is going to do by remembering, like a video game, and avoid the damage. That's what's really cool about the boss fights. But once it hits the heat level, it adds those 2 heat cards, and it reshuffles the deck, making the boss become unpredictable. And that's the type of things that I like, that been keeping it fresh. That's what I understand what the developers of this have done by including that system in there. After you beat the boss, I actually am not going to look at this. I'm just going to show you guys. I don't actually want to be spoiled on this at all, because I don't want to know what they do. But these are our equipment. These are boss equipment. Camera, the GoPro turned off. Didn't charge it enough, but I'll give it an hour. Is pretty nice for recording all that when I was not expecting to do an hour video. I just let my friends do whatever they want, got their food. Here's the 2 cards I was talking about. Once again, I'm not going to look because I actually really don't want to see them. But once you beat the boss, your whole entire party gets those 2 cards, and you're able to throw them into your inventory, and then you guys can decide if you have enough stats to use it and who wants to use it, because you share them together. And then, yeah, you set up for the main boss. So, like, the main boss are over there. This is just a mini boss. I'm sorry I don't have the whole entire explanation of the main boss in this video, because we have not even faced the main boss yet. We have not been able to defeat the mini boss and then get to a main boss yet. So we're still very new. But yeah, this was a fun video to make nonetheless. I'm really liking this way more than I ever expected, and for the price, it definitely is an adventure. It feels like Dark Souls, which is quite amazing. They were able to transition a really hardcore game like Dark Souls into a tabletop format. I never thought that would have been truthfully possible, but good on the developers of this. Anyways, link in the description to Amazon if you guys want to go ahead and pick it up. I really do suggest it because it's on sale right now. It's over $100 when it's not on sale, and so when it's on sale, you probably should get it. It is my first tabletop game, so I know that I'm gonna get some dislikes on this video because I clearly could have explained a lot of this better, but this is, think about it from a new point of view. Like, if you're just trying to get into this game and understand it and see somebody's truthful opinion, this is the type of video I kind of like, because I just want to say, like, hey, I'm not going to understand everything, and there's going to be some mistakes made, and it's going to even be more fun once you actually see me and my friends actually play the game, because you guys can see how to look at the rule books and make sure we're doing everything right, what equipments we get, how we decide to roll, take the damage. Are we gonna, who's gonna level up? Because that's a big deal between us. He's like, yo, I need to level up, bro. If I don't level up, what am I gonna do? But you need to level up because you need to level up to get a better shield. So all that little decisions as a group is pretty cool. There's the invader stuff for the expansions. There's a mimic stuff. There's a bunch of stuff coming out to the game, which is really cool that they're adding all that stuff in. You can even print some of them out yourself, different sets. And I've been having fun with me and my friend testing out the stuff with the 3D printer. My friend is having fun 3D printing that stuff. How's that going, bro? Good? Fucked? Yeah. The base thing didn't work?
I will show you.
Okay, so let me go check out what happened with the 3D print. Sounds like we had some problems, and yeah. Peace out, guys. I gotta go edit this all together a little later after we play our match. I'm gonna have a solo game for you guys coming eventually, too.